r/AskReddit by Reddit. What's your duck this? I quit. Story. After taking a few days off work, while my father was having a brain tumor removed, and still checking emails, and attending conference calls from the hospital, my boss gave me a new project. On a Thursday afternoon she gave me a Monday morning deadline for a project that would take 6 to 8 days to complete. I worked 16 hours a day to get it done. When we met on Monday she asked how my weekend was. I worked all weekend. Then she asked if I got to visit my dad in the hospital. No, I didn't get a chance because I worked all weekend. A couple weeks later she pulled me into a meeting and said, I feel like you were resentful because you had to work, and I feel like I was really good when your dad was sick. Maybe you're just tired. Are you tired? She'd also make comments when I would leave the office on time, not early, on time. It's great that you just get up and go when your day is over. Like I have to go because I have a daughter, but you don't have any kids and you just leave at the end of the day. Yeah, which, I don't live here. I don't go home and sit in a dark room counting the hours until I get to come back here. I'm also not curing cancer. Nothing we do here matters to anyone outside of here. I give you 100% when I'm here, but when my day is done, it's ducking done. I no longer work there. Started my first job at 15 as a dishwasher for a friend's family's new Korean restaurant. They were my neighbors. My typical workday was 4 PM to 9 PM on the clock. Afterwards I was expected to stay and help close shop, and instead of getting paid for those extra 3 hours I was given a meal for compensation. To be fair, there are laws prohibiting minors from working too long or too late, and honestly I didn't mind it as the food was incredible. After about a year I'm now 16, and due to the minimal wait staff I was expected to work as a waiter/busboy in between dishes. Fair enough, I was getting sick of the same old anyways. So I came in during the week to start training, and since they knew I was already familiar the menu and whatnot, I wasn't a shadow. I was just on my own and winging it. I made a mistake. I pointed not remembering soup or salad, so I went back upstairs to ask, and when I returned with my answer I was insulted by my manager for not taking this seriously enough. Alright. A couple months go by, and I'm waiting tables and dishwashing all while being micromanaged by my manager. Well, one weekend a Mardi Gras parade was being held downtown where the restaurant is located, so it'd easily be one of our busiest days that year. I was scheduled for 4 PM to 10 PM, but they asked if I'd come in that morning around 8 or so. About an hour or two into my new shift there was a mountain of dishes I was being expected to maintain while also waiting tables. My manager walks into the back where I am, and the dialogue goes like this. Leif, what are you doing? Washing dishes? Go ask table 6 if they need refills. Yes ma'am. I walk out the back and to the front of the store while she's tailgating me and pick up the pitcher of water. As I pick it up she asks, do you even know what you're doing? At this point I'm pretty fed up and kindly respond with, yeah, I know how to pour water. She didn't like that and told me that I need to look at her with respect and that if I didn't like it here I should just leave. So I left them with mountains of dishes and thirsty customers. Know your worth. I interviewed for a corporate accounting role because public accounting was much less pay and a lot more hours. Was told in the interview that it was show up between 8 and 9, leave between 4 and 5. There'd be no more working late nights or having to work on weekends, which was great. I took the job and within 2 months realized they were lying through their teeth. First off, there was absolutely no training on their processes. I was given enough work for 3 people with no direction on how to do it. My manager was so scatterbrained, he could never give me any help when I asked. No one talked for 8 hours a day, and it was just an unbelievably bad work culture. I'd get to work usually at 8:30 and leave at 4:30 while eating lunch at my desk. I came in one day and was told, since you're leaving so early, I can only hope you're working from home. Then the next week, we are told we have to come in for a full day Saturday because we had New Year's Day off that Monday. My final straw was when I left at 2:30 one day for a doctor's appointment. When I came in the next day, my manager pulled me into a room and said that I didn't have enough accrued PTO to do that, and he was going to dock my pay in a salaried position. Went in the next day, told him it wasn't working out, and put my 2 weeks in. On my last day, he told me I could leave at 11:30, so I did. When I got my final paycheck, he docked my pay for the remainder of that day. Luckily, the recruiter who got me the job followed up to ask what happened, and I was completely open and honest with her. Apparently, that manager has a very high turnover rate for the position I was in, and the recruiter told me that the CFO is looking into replacing him. I'm sure the CFO looked into it, then his wife said he couldn't fire her brother, and so he got promoted instead. I was working in a particular role for a small charity. It was already a busy role, but then due to changes within the company my role got ridiculous. I was the senior manager looking after the budgets and accounts, and acting as an accountant, so had to teach myself all about charity tax law, which is not easy. I was managing marketing, media, communications, strategic implementation, a reception and all customer service, a physical and online shop, 10 members of staff, legal compliance including insurance and data protection, health and safety, HR, reporting and end of year audits, preparing papers for, and attending trustee meetings, procurement as well as general meetings. To the point where my job had gone way beyond my original job description anymore. Anyway, despite all the extra responsibilities, my boss still expected me to have time to do everything to an extremely high standard, and couldn't possibly understand there would be any reason that I was overwhelmed apart from me being crap. Strange how everyone in that place also complained about being overworked, and that at one point the staff were going to go to the trustee board to see if they could get him replaced. It was always everyone else's fault. He sat me down at my 12-month probation meeting and said that I wasn't doing well enough to be given the job permanently, so he wanted to extend my probation by another 3 months, in which time he must see improvements. And what did I think I needed to improve? I said that I had been telling him for months what I needed to improve, which was for him to take the fact that everyone was overworked seriously, and his expectations of what a human being could achieve were ridiculous at best, which was apparently never going to happen, so I quit. He said he didn't want that. I said I did, and just quit. It had been on my mind for a while, but that pushed me over the edge. A part of me wanted to stay, to go to the probation hearing and let everyone in ours know exactly what he was like, but I was just so done with the whole thing. Best decision ever. I now have an amazing job I love for a different charity that actually values what I do, and it feels great. But I don't want you to quit. Too bad. Sucks to suck. Was volunteering in a local charity shop at the weekend. As it turns out, most of the non-paid volunteers were conscripted from job seekers or community service, or whatever. They had to turn up to get their welfare payments, etc. Anyway, I'd been there about 6 months, was hard graft at times, moving sofas round the shop, up and down 3 floors. It was a nice sunny day, and I was taking my lunch break out the back, sitting on a sofa at the loading bay doors in view of a public car park, eating a sandwich with my feet up on the railing. All of a sudden some woman who I've never seen before starts waggling her finger at me like I'm a naughty kid, then shouting at me in a disgusting tone, "Get up, young man, how dare you." She kept ranting on. I'm like, who the hell is this? She can get ducked. Slowly I get up and move inside. Turns out she was the area manager. She annoyed me so bad. I didn't really have an issue with what she was asking. It possibly didn't give a good impression. It was the way she was speaking to me I had a problem with. I think she thought I was the typical conscript who could be abused without recourse, as they had to stay there and take the abuse in order to get their payments. Some customers in the shop heard how she spoke to me and they backed me up, so I knew I wasn't nuts. Told her she could stick my volunteering, and I got the hell out of there. Never went back. Made me think, why should I give up my free time to help the switch on a fat salary hit her targets? I doubt she had a charitable bone in her body. I wrote a 2-page letter of complaint to the head office, but never did send it. Kind of regret that. I worked for a company for over a year that was contracted to make deliveries for Amazon. The vans they equipped us with were terribly maintained and fully unequipped to handle winter weather. I worked with the company through their first winter, which meant sliding all over the road when it was icy and getting stuck constantly every time we had snow. I never had a major accident, though I did have 2 or 3 close calls where only minor damage was incurred to the van. I decided to stick it out through the summer, when the weather was obviously much better. All summer long they promised us that new and better vans were coming. September rolls around, no vans. October, no vans. November, no vans. That month we got our first real snow. I got back from my route and immediately put in my notice. My boss told me they would be getting new vans by the end of the year. I told her that was nice and walked. My boss told me they would be getting new vans by the end of the year. I told her that was nice and walked. I wonder if they ever did get new vans. My gut says no, but my heart says also no. I've seen the old vans driving around town, so I'm gonna say no. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comment section below.